one of the most famous photos you'll see of the souk in Marrakesh, or another one with all the spices in the amazing little cone pyramids. And so like I said, I did learn about 10 words of Moroccan Arabic, and I would walk through the souk and everyone was talking to me, and I would tell them, La shukran. That means no thank you. So someone told, George was walking behind me, and they told George, your wife, she speaks great Arabic. I was like, yep, 5 words. So I definitely, when you're there, you have to negotiate. It's part of enjoying it. You know, I bought some earrings, and the man told me, 2 for 250 dirham, which is about $33, and I said 80. He said 200, and I said 80. And he said, give me your real price, and I said 80. And then he goes, come on. So I said 90, and I walked out of the store, and he sold it to me. So sometimes you have to be firm. That's why he calls me killer. So this is in Fez. This is a gigantic cemetery. And this is the outside. I showed you earlier the inside of this museum with all the Jewish books. And for me, it was amazing to be reminded of how strong and how big the community of Jews was in Fez. I was really fascinated when I spoke to Vanessa. You heard her singing before, and I'm going to share another song of hers at the end. Vanessa's son goes to a Jewish school in Casablanca. There's 4 Jewish schools in Casablanca. And Vanessa's son speaks Spanish, English, French, Arabic, and Hebrew. He's about 2. 3 maybe. Jamie? No, he's not.
He's a little over 1.5.
1.5. But she says he speaks 5 languages.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So I said, that's amazing that he speaks 5 languages. And she said, that's Morocco.
She does too.
She's amazing. She promised that the next time she's back that she's going to do a concert. I had many, many phone calls. Was Vanessa going to be here in person? Vanessa used to run give singing lessons or do a singing group here in LA, and people can't wait for her to come back. So we're going to do another one where Vanessa can come and sing.
She's very famous now, like kind of in Morocco. She sings Ladino music, and but she sang for the embassy there. They used her a lot in a way in Morocco to do. She would do songs with some of the Muslim singers, and they would do intercultural events. And she's very well regarded in Europe. But she did a lot here in LA as well.
I thought it was amazing. Vanessa grew up in Colombia, but her family's Moroccan. And then she lived in America, and she moved back to Morocco. She had a Fulbright scholarship to study Jewish music. So another favorite thing I had about Morocco is the food. So on one side you can see chicken tagine, which is tagine de djaj. Djaj is chicken. That's another one of my 10 words. And it's amazing. One of the most amazing things is every time you have it, it's a little bit different. It's a slow-cooked stew with meat and vegetables. You can make it with fish. And George has created his own version in the wok, so we have wakajine. And on the other side, you can see couscous. So couscous is steamed ground meat and vegetables. I was told that often Moroccans have this on the end of the week on Fridays. Another one that's one of my favorites is pastilla, which it has a pastry shell with sugar and cinnamon on top. And I do have oranges with cinnamon because that was one of the things that I ate a lot when I was in Morocco. Actually, I didn't really like oranges so much before that, but now I love them. And I have all the kids at school eating oranges with cinnamon on top like in Morocco. So as I told you, tagine de djaz, if you were there and you order that, I promise you one of the men practically fell over because he said I spoke so much Arabic. I'm going to try and learn 10 more words before I go again. Now this is in Marrakesh, in the main square in the Jamal Fin. Did I say it right, Zubir?
Yeah. No.
Okay, good.
Jemethna.
Thank you. My pronunciation is so good. So this is a place that actually my friends here told us to go to stall number 14 to visit now. And we went here, it's very crowded, and we had to wait our turn and kind of shove our way in here with all, you can see the families and the babies. The food was amazing. And we met another couple who were in from Spain and England, and they took us up on this terrace to see the beautiful view with all the lights of the city and the square. And in the square you can find everything. You want a snake charmer? Do you want to buy a sword? You would like to have a really good glass of orange juice? This is your place. You can see that many of the women have their heads covered, but you can see there's all different people here eating together. And yes. Well, there's lots of tourists here too, but again, Morocco is a place that, like I said, there's a big mix of the old and the new, and everyone lives, like I showed you, the Plaza in Meknes looks very new, and the tannery with the man with his feet in pigeon poop, that's the, there's the old and the new and living all together in the beautiful place of Morocco. Here you can see we put George to work. We met a man, Mohammed, and he took us on a tour in Fez. And this is the communal oven, and it was amazing to me to walk in the streets. All of these young children are walking around boards. And you can see there's different napkins on them, and all of the family's bread. And they take the bread to the communal oven, and it smells very good. And I was impressed that everyone gets their own board back. They said they never make a mistake. So the man that took us on our tour, he ran a haircut shop. It was for men only, and it opened at 9 o'clock every night. He told us there were 1,000 people in his family, and because he had no wife and no children, he was free not to work. But he did work sometimes in his haircut shop. And he also showed us how to write our names in Arabic. So we did stay in a couple of amazing riads. A riad is usually has not so many rooms. The one on the top is in Fez, and the one on the bottom was in Meknes. And the one on the bottom in Meknes was called Riyad Safir, and was run by a French woman named Chantal. And the rooms in Chantal's riad were named Paprika, Cinnamon, and Saffron. And they made this amazing breakfast for us on the rooftop. And that was where I learned to say yes, please. That's na'am milfadlik. And we had an amazing breakfast. We got to talk to the people in the riad. They were very friendly to us. In the riad in the top was a little harder to find. In Fez, here were the directions I had to give myself to get there. You go on Tala Sahira from the big gate, and you pass 4 fountains, and then turn right. One time we walked by, and one of the local sellers who we'd been talking to, he's like, "You missed it." So they helped us, because it was confusing. They call Fez a labyrinth. A lot of people take a tour, and there were several times we weren't too sure where we were going. And once I convinced George that we'd follow a tour. They were speaking Spanish, so we could listen in. And George and I both speak Spanish, and we followed along. And George was like, "But we don't know where they're going." I said, "Yes, but at the end, they'll get to a gate. And from the gate, I can figure out something." So it was really very beautiful, but it definitely is confusing.